All right. Welcome, 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 ladies. Today we are stepping into a conversation that many of us have lived throughout our work life, but rarely unpack out loud. And it's titled Invisible in the Room, Yet Hearing the Answers. And tonight we're going to be talking about mastering the art of influence and holding difficult conversations so that you are seen, valued, and heard. And let me tell you, just because they don't see you today does not mean you do not hold the solutions. So tonight we're going to activate. Now, we're going to be here every bit of 1 hour and 30 minutes because I have some meat to share with you all. If you're good for an hour and a half, go ahead and type into the chat a Y for yes. Just give me some Y's into the chat if you're good for an hour and a half. A Y. Awesome. Awesome. Very good. Let's keep going. If you're not good for an hour and a half, go ahead and type a no into the chat.
Oh,
An N for no. All right, so let's keep going. So, who am I? My name is LaShawanda Moore, and I am a woman who has committed to using my life experiences, the wins, the wounds, and the work to help other people unlock their potential so that they can have the life that they crave. Now, ladies, I wear many hats. I am a coach, I'm an author, I'm a speaker, a hybrid entrepreneur, an employee, and a mentor. The way I advance this and do these things is that I have several platforms. One, I am a full-time employee for a Fortune 500 company. I'm in a global contract manufacturing role right now. I also own Elevate Success, which this training tonight is brought to you by Elevate Success LLC, where I do coaching and consulting. I have a 29,000 square foot family entertainment facility called Launch right here in Richmond, Virginia. I have a nonprofit called She Lives Out Loud, where we help women who've been displaced get back on their feet so that they can contribute the way God has ordained them to contribute. And then lastly, I am a skill path trainer. So, though I wear all of those hearts, at the heart of it all, I'm a woman on purpose and doing purposeful work, and hopefully, what you experience here today, you feel how I'm bringing it all to you. A few more things about me just to help you understand what I bring to the table. I am an engineer by training and a builder by nature. I build businesses. I have my MBA from the University of Phoenix, about 26 years as an engineer and leader in a Fortune 500 company. I have 15 years of direct sales leadership experience. I have about 13 years of entrepreneur experience. I'm a certified professional coach, distinguished Toastmaster, and currently pursuing my doctorate in business administration. So, when I talk to you tonight about influence and leadership, this is not theory. This is practical application. It's from the field and not the sidelines. You can also find me all over the net, the internet. You can find me in NBC, Richmond Business Sense, um, Home Business, connecting women to their dreams, just many different public outfits and platforms to find me and the work that I've been doing. I am also a two-time author. I have a book called Recover, A Woman's Journey from Failure to Restoration, where I'm the sole author sharing an experience during a difficult time in my career, but not for you to get caught in my story, but for you to look at your story. And then my second book is Pursue, where I'm the co author within a collaboration, and Pursue is a leadership book. Last but certainly not least, my motivation is my party of six. And that's Roderick, my oldest son, on the left, then Ryan, my husband, my biggest fan, in the middle, my daughter that I pray for, my princess London, and then my son on the right, my youngest son, is Randall. Having said all of that, whoo, I don't say that to brag. I say it to share with you that I know what I'm talking about tonight. And what I'm sharing with you is what I've used. Who is this for? This is for the woman who is tired of sitting at the table with the answers, yet still being overlooked. This is for the woman who knows she offers value, but struggles to convert interest into actual sales. This is for the woman who is ready to stop spinning her wheels and start closing with confidence. This is also for the woman who is no longer satisfied with almost getting there. She's ready for activation, recognition, and results. And then lastly, this is for the woman who feels the pull to rise higher in her career and her business, but needs a breakthrough strategy. How many of you are feeling any of those today? If you're feeling any of that, like you see yourself in that, go ahead and type a 1 into the chat. 1 means I see myself on this screen. Love it. Thank you. Thank you. Awesome. Well, ladies, let's get into this. I have a goal today. It's very simple yet powerful. I am going to equip you with tools to increase your influence so you can finally be heard, respected, and paid for what you are worth. Lean in tonight. Take copious notes because I got a lot of meat and potatoes tonight that I'm going to be sharing with you. So let's get going. Before we go today, I do have an opportunity for you, and I don't want you to miss it. There is something that can be a game changer for you, and I'm going to share it with you before I wrap up. I believe that everyone has what they need inside of them to lead in life, work, and community. Everything that we go through, all of our experiences, whether they're good or they're bad, they are for building the depth of character that is necessary to go to the next level. And if you all don't believe me, you can go to Romans 5, 3 through 5 and see where the word lays out how all of the things, the struggles, the trials, the tribulations, all of the things that we go through, it builds endurance or perseverance, and then it builds character, and then character, hope, and hope does not disappoint. So when I say that you have everything that you need inside of you, I believe that with every fiber of my being, because that's what the word of God says. But one of the things that I found is that you just, we all need a little bit of help. We need a little bit of coaching. One of the jewels I found a long time ago is that we need to master our God-given. As women, we are given this gift of influence, and we have to master the art of influence. So before we get going, what is influence? You all type it to the chat. What is influence in your mind? And I'll say this up front while you're typing into the chat. Influence is not about being loud or bossy at all. It's not about manipulation. It's not about getting things for your gain, for your wrong, for in a wrongful way for your gain. All right. But it is about showing up powerfully and showing up in a way that others cannot ignore your presence. All right, so Jackie has getting others to do what you want them to do. Bingo. Jackie, you're in my slides. So, influence is the ability to change another person's thoughts, beliefs, and or actions. Again, it's not manipulation. Stacy says it's about moving the needle in your life and in the lives of others. Yes, it is leadership. Influence is not manipulation, it is leadership. And we all know that leadership, we can take this definition and go backwards. Leadership is the point at which influence is made. So if we step back, you don't have to have direct reports to be a leader. If you all agree, go ahead and type a 2 into the chat. You don't have to have direct reports to be a leader, because if leadership is the point at which influence is made, then you're influencing your children, you're influencing your friends, you're influencing your cousins, your siblings, right? Sisters, brothers, cousins, right? Co-workers. So then influence is something that can be used for good or for bad. And today we're talking about that influence for good. Lakeisha says influence is the power or the ability to affect how someone thinks, feels, or acts. Yes. This kind of influence is from an authentic place, not about authority. And influence means that people don't mind following you. They don't mind mimicking you and doing what it is that you're doing. All right. So, can we all agree that each of us are called to be influencers? I'm not talking about the social media kind, right? But in our homes, our workplaces, in our communities. Awesome. Awesome. Everybody's in alignment. So, there are four types of influence powers, types of influence powers, right? The first one is an expert power. So you have your expertise around something, right? You have the knowledge, you have the acumen, you have the understanding of certain industry or thing, right? That is expert power. And because you have the knowledge, you come with some power, some influence power to get people to do the things that you want them to do. Then there's an influence called referent or charisma power. And this influence, it's really about how you carry yourself, the aura, how you move, and your integrity, like all these things around who you are as a person. And because of who you are as a person, people don't mind following you. And then there's one, reward and coercive power. This is more positional because you have the title, right? You're the manager. As soon as you got that title, manager, you come with some influential power. Okay. And then the last one is domineering, and it's more authoritative and demanding. It's a power that we're probably underneath right now from the White House, but that's another topic. But tonight, we're talking about the power that transforms people. And that's the referent or the charisma power. So let's go deeper. So I want you all to think about a person. Everybody, get into your head the name of a person that you would say is an amazing leader and has a lot of referent power, charisma. Think about that person and go ahead and type a first name into the chat. Just think about someone you're like, man, that person's an amazing leader. And it's really about who they are. It's about their referent power. What comes to mind? Who comes? Stacy, Alicia. Okay. Very good. Keep those names coming because I want you all to hone in on this leader. So now, what I want you to do is think about what is it about this person that makes them such an amazing leader to you? What is it? Type into the chat. What are some things that really like, man, Lauren, and I know who Lauren is, Naisha. Oh, Joyce Dungy Proctor. Yes, yes. She's one of the speakers at our conference. Okay. So tell me, what is it about that? Type some things into the chat. Relatable. Very good, Michelle. Thank you. Their consistency. Love it. So relatable, consistency. What else? They listen twice as much as she speaks. Engaging. Modest and honest. Alicia is always teaching and encouraging you to always be learning. All right, so ladies, look at all of those things that we just put into the chat. What did you notice about the things that we shared? What are those things? Are they skills or are they character traits? What did you notice? Character traits. Absolutely. Absolutely. Character traits, their emotional intelligence, their character traits. 80 to 90% of why someone would say they are a great leader is because of their character, not their skills. It's because of their emotional intelligence and their ability to not only be self-aware but also aware of others and manage themselves around their awareness of themselves and other people, right? So they are very much people, recognizes the potentials in other. Absolutely. So let's get going. The characters, if I, the things that I share with you on this screen here are probably traits that many of your leaders that you've pointed out hold. They provide comfort, right? They create psychological safety. They are authentic. There are no facades about them. What you see is what you get. They're very genuine. They operate from the heart, right? They're confident in who they are. They're comfortable with who they are, and they know their why, right? They build trust. And typically, to build trust, they lower the waterline and they're vulnerable, right? They don't mind admitting when they make mistakes, right? They're not perfect, but they're very present and vulnerable. Would you all agree those things about your particular leader? Just type a Y into the chat if you agree or give me a thumbs up. So what's interesting, so story here, the picture that you see on the screen is actually a picture of me standing on the stage of our Leah Sophia conference one year. And many of you, some of you probably met me back in my Leah Sophia days. I started selling Leah Sophia jewelry back in 2001, I believe. And I sold the jewelry all the way to 2014 when they shut the doors. But can I tell you, when I first started selling that jewelry, I was horrible. Like, I was terrible. I was a young engineer. I wore the same gold herringbone earrings and the same small hoop earrings that my mama gave me when I graduated to a bigger hoop. I wore it every day. I never took that jewelry off, right? And I ended up in this business selling high quality fashion jewelry with a lifetime replacement guarantee. But I did not know what I was doing. And what I also didn't know is why I couldn't get bookings on my calendar. You know, I the very first within the very first year being in this business, I attended a conference and I watched these women walk across the stage getting all these accolades and selling millions of dollars in jewelry. And I'm like, well, what's wrong with me? I eat, sleep, and pass waste the same way. How come I'm not making these sales? I want to walk across this stage. And so I left that conference within the first year and I went back on a mission to figure it out. Well, I started learning the jewelry, learning how to do the business, learning the bookings, but I still couldn't get a booking on the calendar. And I learned that there was a piece of the formula I was missing, and that was likability. You see, I believe that knowledgeability is not enough. There has to be a likability aspect in order for people to book you. So, knowledgeability plus likability equals bookability. And see, what happened was I realized I was very insecure, had low self esteem, and people were picking up, you know, on something. They couldn't put their fingers on it, but they didn't trust me because I was hiding behind the insecurities. And as long as I was hiding behind the insecurities, I couldn't be authentic enough to be charismatic enough and referent enough to be able to influence them to book me. But once I figured out I had some insecurities and low self esteem, then my journey became, how do I love me? And how do I fix me so that I can marry my knowledge and my likability factor to get bookability. And long story short, what you see on the screen is that I figured it out and I built a team of over 300 women in 16 states and taught, trained, coached, mentored people to be successful in this business. And one of the things that I always taught was knowledgeability plus likability equals bookability. But how do I get that knowledge, that likability piece? Beyond falling in love with myself, I had to also master the art of influence. And I came across this guy by the name of Chris Weiner. And Chris Weiner says that there are 4 golden rules of influence. So once I fell in love with myself, right, and this was a journey over time. Okay, this did not happen overnight. I'll say maybe 5 years in is when I hit 6 figures in the jewelry business. So it took some time, right? But once I fell in love with myself, I adopted these 4 golden rules, and I'm going to let you in on them tonight. The very first rule, and it's always number one, ladies. You can get all the other rules out of order, but the very first rule is integrity. Now, I'm going to give you all 4 of them and then we're going to break it down. The second one is having a positive attitude. The third, serving heart. And then lastly, a personal standard of influence. Now, I'm crazy enough to believe that once I fell in love with myself and adopted these 4 golden rules of influence, I was able to come up not only in my jewelry business, but also in my corporate career because there became a consistency. I heard someone in the chat say consistency, right? There became some consistency in how I showed up. And with consistency is practice, and with practice becomes confidence, right? The way you build confidence is to consistently practice good things, and then you become confident. So let's break it down. So we said integrity is always the first rule. Why is integrity always the first rule? Integrity is foundational because integrity demonstrates that you live your life in a whole, complete, undivided manner. So, how I see you here, I'm also going to see you the same way there. Like you're not 2 different people. You're not, if the sun is shining, you're happy go lucky, and then it's snowing outside and you're like grumpy. Right? No, how people consistently see you or how they see you is consistent. Another aspect of integrity is that you do what you say you're going to do. So if you say you're going to be the MC for an event, by all means, you show up and you are the MC of that event. Coming up with excuses and reasons of why you can't do something that you said you were going to do, it breaks your integrity. And I'm going to pause a second. If you all are picking up what I'm putting down so far, go ahead and type a 3 into the chat. If you're picking up what I'm putting down so far, put a 3 into the chat. Awesome, awesome, awesome. Okay. Okay, good, good. So integrity is about being who you say you are. You're walking your talk and you're in alignment with consistent core value. And another aspect is about authenticity, right? People see you as real. Like what you see here with LaShawanda is what you get all the time. Okay. Am I perfect? Absolutely not. Do I have an attitude sometimes? Absolutely, I do. Do I get ignorant sometimes? Yeah, absolutely, I do. Right? Because I'm a human being. Now, do I practice doing that all the time? Absolutely not. But catch me when I don't have food, then I might get a little hangry. All right. But for the most part, the core of me and my character is the same. It's authentic. All right. Is this making sense? Type a 4 into the chat if this is making sense. And the beauty about integrity is that it affords trust. So people don't trust titles. They trust truth, right? And so when you're true, to who you are all the time, that's how you start to build trust. Okay? So you're doing the right thing even when no one is looking. It's called integrity. The second one is a positive attitude. Okay, how many of those leaders that y'all put into the chat are walking around negative nannies or grumpy or always having some pessimistic view of life? Any of them? Type a N if no, or yes if a Y if yes. Exactly. Right. So a positive attitude, people want to be around those that are optimistic and hopeful. Right. They are focused on possibilities and not limitations. You know, I was just at my coach, Dr. Darnell Jerby Harmon's event, Move to Millions. And I thought that this picture was pretty appropriate for this slide. I didn't come from millions, but millions will come from me, right? So it's like, yeah, it didn't happen for me back then when I was growing up in the hood, but I'm creating a life of legacy and wealth now, and millions will come from me now. So it's having a positive attitude, a forward thinking attitude, a an and yes or a yes but, right? Or not a yes but an and yes, right? You know, hey, that might be the case, but this is what we can do. Okay. Another aspect of positive attitude is great energy, right? How you show up in the room, like people want to be around people that are excited, people who are bringing that are changing and shifting the atmosphere. I walked up to my trampoline park today and there was a field trip leaving the park, a little bit of kids. And I noticed the leader was just like, just like stressed out trying to get all these little kids together and da 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 da. And so I came out of the vehicle with a camera and brought all of this energy. And before you know it, I had sang a song with these kids, took a picture, lined them back up, and got them on both buses. And the lady was smiling because I brought energy and brought life into them, right? Excitement into them. Attitude is everything. If you walk in a room and your energy is heavy, that's what people are going to remember. But if you walk into the room and your energy is light and bright, you can shift the atmosphere. This can happen at the boardroom table. This can happen in your conference rooms. This can happen in your business relationships. This can happen in your networking event. Stop stressing over being perfect and being right and focus on being positive and the light. And if you need to, start it right here in your mind. Talk to yourself and purposely say positive things to yourself so that you change your state of thinking and being before you get around other people. Do whatever it is that you need to do in your private time, in your private space, so that you can shift yourself before you interact with God's human beings. If you're okay with what I'm putting down right now, go ahead and type a 5 into the chat. If you're okay with what I'm putting down. Is this good? If this is good, y'all tell me it's good. Give me an emoji, something if this is good. I love it, Joyce. Thank you. Let's go. Let's keep going. The next one is about a serving heart. This scripture on the side of here is a really amazing scripture, Matthew 22:37 through 39. And it talks about loving the Lord your God with all your heart, with all your soul, and with all your mind. This is the first and greatest commandment. And the second is like it. The second one, love your neighbor as you love yourself. So remember, we got to love ourselves first. Okay. And when you love yourself, you can love others. You can consider other people's interests more important than yours. You can focus on helping other people obtain what it is that they want to obtain versus your own hidden agenda. When you're focused on making other people successful, you'll become successful by default. And a lot of times we are not seen and valued is because we're in our own heads about our own agenda, about making a good name for ourselves or proving that we know what we're talking about. You don't have to prove yourselves, ladies. Just be who God has created you to be. God has equipped each and every one of us with gifts, skills, and abilities that the world needs. So focus on giving those to other people. And if people know that you are more concerned for yourselves than them, they will not buy into what you're doing. So remember, leaders, which we all are, right? Because we're all called to be influencers. And if you're an influencer, you're a leader. And leadership is the point at which influence is made. Then leaders focus on building and developing other people. All right. And then the last one is a personal standard of excellence. Like this one is dear and near to my heart. Like I'm here for a basketball tournament, and we've been here a little longer because we have our business here. The ladies, when I go to the basketball games, I'm not wearing leggings. I'm not wearing biking shorts or what do they call this? Workout clothes. I'm not doing that because I represent a brand of excellence. I represent a woman on a mission. I represent a woman who is purposeful in making positive impact on the women that I come in contact with. So when I step out of my door, I don't care if I'm going down the street to the corner store. I am going to look to bar. I am going to look like the brand that I want people to remember me as. I am going to look like the woman I am targeting to be. So if you want to be a higher level executive, or if you want to be a multi six figure business, then go ahead and look like that now, right? And people are innately attracted to excellence. Excellence is a magnet, it inspires, it builds hope, and it demands respect. You want your work to speak for you as well. So the things that come from your desk, listen, if it got a little grease stain on it, don't pass it out. If it's wrinkled, don't hand that out. Today at the park, I had the cashier like cleaning up all this junk that they had collected around the front desk. Like that's not what we shouldn't have all this stuff on the back counter. It doesn't if it doesn't have our logo on it and have a purpose or displaying maybe some of the awards or things that we won, it shouldn't be on this back counter. So she was going through this little container, and there was a stack of napkins, y'all, like green napkins that we use for the birthday parties. And she was about to put those napkins up. Those napkins looked like they had been through moisture. They were wrinkled. I was like, now, would you wipe your baby's face with these napkins? If you won't wipe your baby's face with those napkins, don't put those napkins in the storage cabinet to be used at our birthday parties. Right? So it's like what comes from your desk, what comes from you want to make sure that it is of excellence. Because when you're not in the room, you want people to speak highly of you. You want them to say good things about your work. Your work should speak so loudly that your name enters the room before you do. Do I need to repeat that? Let your work speak so loudly that your name enters the room before you do. And they should be saying some darn good stuff. If you like what I'm putting down, go ahead and give me something in the chat. This virtual environment, I need to feel you. I need to feel you. I need to feel you. I don't see you. All right, I see a hand clap. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. All right. Now, I have a bonus rule. So Chris gave us the 4 rules. Somebody said, preach. I don't know who it is. Okay. Oh, Lakeisha. That's too funny. So Chris gave us 4 rules, right? But LaShawanda has a bonus rule, and I don't have time to get into it with you today, but I do have a place where I am going to get into it. And it's called to own your bold factor. All right. So we talked all four of Chris's rules, but there's another element that helped me to become a person of influence, and that is to own your bold factor. Now, I don't have time to get into the bold factor today, but I will be getting into the bold factor soon. Remember, I promised you I have an opportunity for you? Well, guess what? This September 5th and 6th, I have the opportunity of a lifetime for you. We have an event called Elevate Her 2025. And on Friday, we're kicking things off at 5 p.m. with a VIP activation experience where we're going to be bringing panelists from executives who are in corporate jobs to entrepreneurs who are running multi seven figure businesses, and we're going to bring two gynecologists in to talk about perimenopause and menopause and how to thrive as a female leader even during that season of life. So that's kicking off Friday. Then Saturday, all day, we have 8 workshops, and you'll be able to choose 4 workshops to attend. I don't know how you're going to choose just 4 because all 8 of my workshop presenters are absolutely phenomenal. Joyce Dungy Proctor, who's on here tonight, is one of my workshop presenters coming all the way from Delaware to Houston to be with us. This is going to be at the Norris Conference Center, and it's for those that are faith-filled women leaders in their career and or in their businesses. They are entrepreneurs, right? You could be working a 9-to-5 job and have a side business that you're building, or you can be all in your 9-to-5 or all in into your entrepreneur endeavors. If you're that woman, this is the event for you. We got keynotes, networking, we're creating a community, but we're giving you access to the wealth, legacy, and knowledge that you need in order to activate and go to the next level. My keynote talk will be introducing the bold factor. Okay. So you're going to get practical tools and strategies to break through barriers in your career and your business. You're going to have strategic networking with high achieving women and experts to enable access to the resources, collaboration, and accountability that you need to activate at a higher level. You're going to boost clarity, confidence, and cash flow from the information that's going to be shared. And you'll leave recharged, refocused, and ready to own your next level. I think the most thing that I'm excited about is the network and the community that is going to be formulated from this experience. The investment is only $279 for Saturday. That's general admission. To add your VIP activation experience, it's $99. That gets you preferential seating. You get the VIP session. You have exclusive time with all of the speakers, panels, and more for a total conference fee of $378. We do have payment plans available via Afterpay pay because we don't want anything to hold you back from being there. And we always say that when you purchase a ticket, you're not just buying your ticket, you're actually investing in yourself. Because if you come, play full out, and implement what you learn, then you're going to make a return on your investment times 10. I do have a special offer for you. With coupon code ELEVATE, you can get $99 off your ticket today. But let me tell you, this is only for today, for 24 hours. It's already set. I turned the coupon on. It's going to go off tomorrow at 6 p.m. So your whole conference experience is only $279. This makes your VIP Friday activation experience completely free. You can visit elevatehertickets.com. And Lakeisha, if you would do me a favor and type elevatehertickets.com into the chat, and coupon code ELEVATE will get you that $99 off. You have to click the box that says VIP activation, and then that ELEVATE promo code is going to take that $99 off and get you in the building for $279. If this sounds like something that you're interested in, go ahead and type a 7, my favorite number, into the chat. Type a 7 into the chat if this sounds like something you're interested in. Love it. Kathleen, it's right at your back door, huh? Norris Conference Center, City Center, Houston. Love it. Thank you. All right. Let's get back to the content. I want to recap the 4 golden rules of influence. Number 1 is integrity. What's number 2? Somebody type into the chat number 2. Thank you, Lakeisha. Type into the chat the second one. Who remembers? Yes, positive attitude. And what's the third one? Serving heart. And what's the last one? I'm not going to click it. Last one. All right, personal standard of excellence. Thank you very much. 4 golden rules of influence. If you consistently practice these, you will up your game in conversions. You can use this in sales. You can use it in your corporate job, in your family. All right. So I want you all to take a moment and think. Which one of the golden rules do you believe you want to improve? Which one of the golden rules you believe, I need to tweak this one a little bit. I need to spend some time here. Anybody want to share in the chat? Which one would you like to work on? And then what will you do to improve it? Who will you hold? Who will you get to hold you accountable to improve it? Or does everyone have all 4 of these down pat? If you have all 4 of these down pat, go ahead and type an 8 into the chat. Like, I got this. I'm already on this, LaShawanda. This old news for me. Type an 8 into the chat. Good, no 8s. Thank you. All right, so I hope in your notes on your paper, you have circled which one of the 4 golden rules that you want to work on. And then later on, your homework is to figure out, what am I going to do specifically? Put your action plan together. What am I going to do specifically? And when am I going to do it? And who am I going to get to hold me accountable to execute? Because if you really want to make a difference and you really want to change some things, having that accountability is critical. All right, let's keep going. Now we're getting ready to shift. Okay, so we talked about the importance of influence and how we need influence in order to get people to do what we want them to do. We are now getting ready to shift. How you perceive anything is shaped by the vantage point you are standing on. If you change your position, then your perspective will follow. Okay? So we're getting ready to talk a little bit about how you perceive things, because sometimes we think something's happening to us, but it's really not. It's really not even about us. So let's discuss. What do you all see on the screen right now? Type into the chat. What do you see on the screen? What do you see? Clouds. Love it. Okay. What else? What do you see? A lady with a hat and a feather. Okay. A lady with a hat and an old lady. Okay. Okay. I see 2 people. Anybody see anything else? I see the old lady too. Okay, very good. So let's look at it. So the old lady, her side profile, so like this is her nose. Okay, can you all see her nose? These are her lips, and this is her chin. Okay, and then her hair back here. Everybody see that? What about the young lady? Do y'all see the young lady? So the young lady, yes, okay, Cayenne. So this is her eyelash. These are her eyelashes. And that's her little bitty nose. Okay, Jackie, it's okay. But so the young lady is more of a side profile. So this is her ear right here. See that? And this is her hair. All of this black is the young lady's hair. And this is her, like the chin right here. Or what do you call this? This part of the chin, y'all? The bottom of her face. And this is her neck. So where the old lady's lips are is her neck. Can you see? Jawline. Thank you, Michelle. Okay, so you all, can you see now the I just see the comfort zone pick. Okay, what's the comfort zone pick? Is that the old lady? So the point of the matter is we see some different things. Let's look at this one. What do you see here? Kathleen's screen. I'm not sure about that, Jackie. A base and two people facing each other. Michelle, I think you've been through this before. Kathleen's like, I don't know what that is. A vase. Okay, so the vase is in the middle here. Okay. And then this is a person. Here's the nose. Here are the lips, the chin. Okay. And then now the other person, two men, yes, facing each other. Yep. Okay. So there are two different views here, and people see different things. Okay, what do you see right here? Front and side view of a face. Yes, front and side view. Yes. So this is the nose from the side and the lips from the side and the eye. Okay. Now, if you look at it from the front, you can see his ear and the earring, one eye, like kind of half of his face. Okay. An illusion. He is looking forward and sideways. Yes, he is. Okay. What do you all see right here? This is the last one. Well, of this section. What do you all see? A duck. Very good. What else? A rabbit and a duck. Michelle, have you been through this before? Or you are just emotionally intelligent and see both sides of the story? Kathleen, duck and rabbit. Yes. So here, I love these pictures. Okay, so this is the beak, okay, of the duck right here, and the eye. Okay, now let's look at the rabbit. So this is the nose of the rabbit and the eye and the ears. Okay, so there you have both. Perception is in the eye of the beholder. So when someone tells you, you made me mad yesterday when you yelled at me. My kids always saying that. In my mind, I'm not yelling. I didn't yell. However, my kids' reality and their perception of what happened and what I did is in their eye. And their perception is their reality. So if they perceived that I yelled, even though I didn't, because this generation thinks that you're yelling when you just get assertive. And I told you to do what blah blah blah. And when I talk like this, I am yelling, right? That's not yelling to me. Yelling is when I go, wow, really, really loud. I told you to do. That's yelling. However, doesn't matter because what they perceived is their reality, right? And so we have to understand that perception is in the eye of the beholder, and that's how we're able to forgive fast and apologize because, while I didn't intend to come across as I was yelling, they perceived me to yell and I wasn't trying to yell. So, you know what? I apologize. I was not trying to yell at you. I just wanted you to understand what I needed you to do and why I needed you to do it. But I will do my best next time not to yell at you, right? So we can shift or adjust ourselves when we start to consider other people and that their perception is their reality. Even though we didn't intend, their perception is reality. So let's look at perception a little bit more. So what do you see? So this person on the left-hand side, when he looks at that number on the floor, what is he seeing? Right here, this guy. He's seeing a 6. But then the other guy on the other side, when he looks at the number on the floor, what is he seeing? A 9. Absolutely. So at the end of the day, are they wrong? Is the guy on the left wrong? No. Is the guy on the right wrong? No. They both see things differently, and it's okay. And I wonder what the world would be like if human beings would accept the reality that everybody sees things differently. And it's not necessarily wrong how they see it. And we shouldn't be trying to convince them that they're wrong. You are wrong for thinking it's a 9. It is a 6. That guy should not on the left be trying to convince the guy on the right that it's a 6 when he sees the 9. Here on the left, how many logs does he see? Count the logs on the left. He sees 4. On the right, how many logs does he see? He sees 3. Is he right on the right? Y for yes, no, N for no. Is he right that he is 3 logs on the right? Absolutely. Is he right on the left-hand side that he sees 4? Absolutely. So when we think about diversity and we think about diversity in thought, okay, not necessarily, I'm not talking about diversity in culture and all those things. All those things make up diversity in thought, right? But people have a diverse way of thinking. And we as leaders need to be quick to listen, quick to put ourselves in their shoes and have empathy, and quick to consider with a serving heart their perspective. When we're able to start to operate like this on a consistent basis and consider other people's point of view and perception as their reality, it will make for a more calmer, cooperative, collaborative experience with human beings. Sometimes when people trigger me, I'll pause when I'm not hungry. I'll pause. Can somebody laugh? I need to know y'all that landed funny. Thank you. Thank you, Michelle. Um, I will pause and wonder, operate from a place of curiosity. I wonder what that person is going through. Or I wonder what kind of day that person had. Or I wonder why that person is consistently showing up late to work. I wonder what is going on. I wonder what their perspective is on this topic. Okay. And when you operate from a place of wonder and a place from curiosity, you are able to start to see things differently yourself, or allow people to, you are able to delegate and allow other people to do things, and you not have to be in so much control over everything. But that's another topic. Last thing here. What do you see? Glass half empty, glass full? Which one? What do y'all see? Half full, half full, half full. What can I add? Ooh, love it. Perspective drives performance. At the end of the day, this guy, Inky Johnson, and essentially, if your performance is lacking, maybe your lens needs adjusting. If your boss is saying that your performance is not up to par, or there's something that you're missing or he's missing, maybe you need to not take offense, but try to consider what I can adjust so that my boss sees me differently, because perception is his reality. Now, I am not saying that everybody's always right in performance. Don't get me wrong. And I'm going to talk about this in a minute around, hold this thought, okay? We're assuming good intent right now, all right? And if your performance is lacking, maybe your lens just needs adjusting. The quicker you shift your perspective from yourself to others, the quicker you can become solution focused. Because if you're stuck in this, what's happening to me, you won't get into what is it that's happening and it's happening for me and for my good, right? So you want to make sure that you're able to shift from the limitation, shift from the negative, and become more solution focused on what are the possibilities and how can we make this right? How can we make this work? How can we find a solution? When you stop making it about you and start focusing on others, everything shifts. You find solutions instead of staying stuck. So now I know shifting perspective sounds simple, but let us be real. When emotions are high and tensions rise, it is not easy to just flip a mental switch. And that is why emotional regulation is key. But before we can lead others well, we must lead ourselves first. So let us pause for a moment and get practical. What are some of the things that you all do to calm down before a difficult conversation or a high pressure moment? Anybody? What do y'all do when things are getting tough in the workplace? Because sometimes we aren't respected and valued in the workplace because we pop off too easily. Meditate, deep breaths, love it. Take a break, pray, box breathe, and thought reframing. Love it. All of those strategies work. Thank you all for sharing those calming strategies. Write it out. Those moments of pause are powerful because once we have calmed ourselves, we can then respond instead of reacting. And the way we respond matters. There's a scripture that says in Proverbs, a soft answer turns away wrath. I wish I could do this more at home. Okay. Your influence is not just in what you say, but how you say it. All of my life, it's been, LaShawanda, it's not what you said. You're right. It's how you said it, right? So this has been something that I've constantly have to work on. My tone, our tone, not just your truth, shapes the outcome of your conversations. Sometimes a soft answer can be hard. I know, Lakeisha, it can be. And that's why we have to pause. We have to meditate. We have to have those daily times with the Lord. We have to pray and keep letting the Lord work on us. That's been the thing for me, right? I can tell when I haven't been in my word enough because I'm on edge. I'm easily triggered, right? I'm popping off, right? But the moment I start to pause and really get back into my word, I can be more of a light and more calm. Controlling our words starts with examining our hearts, right? And before you speak, you want to check in. What is driving my tone? What's driving my posture? What's driving my urgency? Because sometimes the real work is not in the conversation with them, but the one you have with God first. If you all are following me still, you're still with me, give me something in the chat. If I'm boring you, don't put anything in the chat. All right. Thank you. Still here with my ticket. Oh, I love it. Come on through. Okay. There's another scripture. Psalms 139 says it perfectly. Search me, O God, and know my heart. Lead me in the way everlasting. This is how we prepare our spirit and heart posture before a difficult conversation. And through prayer and reflection, we can have a better conversation. I'll tell you, there's this lady at work, little short lady that is over a department that I have to work with. I won't give too much details because some people might hear this and pick it up. But she was very rude and nasty in a meeting where I was going and petitioning for a variance. And of course, she was like, how is this possible that we had a deadline? We did all this communication. I mean, just going completely off. And I had to have a moment of breathing, right? I had to have a moment of pause because it triggered me that she was talking to me this way in an open meeting. That is one of my triggers when I am embarrassed or I am disciplined in open. Okay. And I needed to pause and pray. And I made it through that meeting. But then I had to have some subsequent meetings with this lady. And I was like, Lord, I prayed and I had a couple of prayer warriors pray for me and with me about this lady because I have a lot going on. And so it doesn't take much, sometimes to make me pop off, right? And so I'm praying, Lord, search me and help me know my heart, right? And lead me. But Lord, touch this lady and help her to find favor in me, right? To listen to me. Y'all, when I tell you we had this meeting, and everybody knows this lady, right? I met with some people outside of the meeting who work with her and say, hey, tell me about her so that I know how to interact with her. Listen, when we got into that meeting, it was like a different woman. She was an angel. She started to give us ways that we could get this done. I mean, just collaborative. Then we had another meeting with her today. The same. She was so kind and apologetic. I'm like, God, is this the same person? Prayer works. So sometimes you have to prepare yourself before you go into these meetings, before you go into these difficult conversations, because you don't want to disrupt your influence. You don't want to disrupt your integrity. You want to make sure that you have that positive attitude and that standard of excellence that you're bringing into the rooms with you. And when we allow God to search our hearts, we begin to uncover some of those hidden thoughts and triggers, even fears that we can work on before we get into these rooms. Okay. So we're going to shift now to giving and receiving feedback and having this difficult conversation because sometimes it feels like people are trying to walk over us. Anybody ever felt like you were showing up and trying to have this servant heart and trying to do all the right things, but you were still getting stepped on? Anybody with me? Still getting stepped on. Yes. Love it. So, one of the biggest barriers that I found is that we don't appreciate feedback, we don't give it, and we don't receive it well. There's a stigma around feedback. And that unspoken weight that makes feedback feel like judgment instead of growth kind of keeps us from receiving it well and giving it. So today I want us to break that mindset. It's not about criticism when we're giving the feedback or when we're receiving the feedback. It's about growth. And we have to reframe how we see it. It's not an attack, it's an act of leadership. And when it's done right, feedback can build trust, alignment, and growth. One of the struggles that I had was giving feedback up, right? When these, directors and executives were treating me certain ways, I wasn't giving them the feedback that I needed to give them. So, one of my aspects of the bold factor is don't be afraid of feedback. Okay. Communicate, clarify, and develop a plan to achieve the goals. So before you even go into conversations like this, when you have to have a hard conversation, you want to make sure you're able to communicate clearly and you clarify your expectations by preparing. Okay. Feedback is about helping other people reach their goals and not tear them down. So as a leader, sometimes you got to give feedback to other people that you're influencing. Okay. And you want to make sure that you're doing it in love. You want to make sure the listener have the tools that they need so that they can remain on course. That's why you're giving them the feedback. But then sometimes you need to give feedback up because you didn't, your psychological safety has been diminished, right? And so this is when we need tools to do that. So let's skip to. So feedback is a gift, okay? It is timely, supposed to be timely, often, and private. Don't do this openly in a meeting. Sometimes we sabotage our leadership and our impact because we do it openly, right? We say things because and we believe it's right, but we do it at the wrong time. And you want to be very careful about crossing people in open. So remember, I said it triggers me. I'm not the only one. I don't think I'm that weird and different. I am very unique and different, but there are other people out there that it triggers them when you openly rebuke them or you openly tell them they're wrong, right? So you want to make sure that you're doing hard things, hard messages in private. Am I saying let people walk over you? Absolutely not. So that's why you want to do it immediately. Okay? You want to be very specific, you want to be genuine, and you want to be focused. Now let's be honest, feedback does not always feel like a gift. Sometimes it's uncomfortable and sometimes it's just downright difficult. Things happen, you know, um, arguments happen. You want to pause and do some introspective thinking. How am I seeing this? Why am I upset about this? What is it about this that is triggering me? What values of mine have been crossed? What might their perspective be, right? Put yourself into their shoes to understand them. And then you want to prepare and plan. You want to schedule a time for the discussion and you want to come in open, ready to listen twice as much as you speak. So why do we need to plan? Because it gives you time to cool down, right? If you are high, if your amygdala is hijacked, that is not the time for you to respond. Cool minds are better when handling difficult situations because you won't regret your reaction later on. You want to be able to respond in a way that leaves you whole and leaves you an influential person. When we think about that person that you all put into the chat earlier of who you believe is a great leader, 9 times out of 10, that person won't fly off the handle right after they're triggered. They handle it in a calm way. They go and reflect. Planning also will help you remain factual and not in your emotions. So when you've let yourself calm down, you get out of your emotional sense and you're able to, the thalamus portion of your brain is now able to reason with what's going on and help you become factual. So what specifically happened? I'm not assuming, I'm not guessing. These specific things happen. Another thing around planning, and I said this, it weeds out the emotions. And if the other person gets off track when you're having the difficult conversation, you can redirect and focus on what you prepared. Okay. So here is a tool. You all gonna love this that I have used with direct reports in my home, business, etc., to have difficult conversation. And I received this tool from a company called McKinsey many years ago. Okay, there are two sides. There's a giving and there's a receiving. Remember, feedback is how we grow. It's how that executive grows. That you got to give feedback up. It's how your peers grow if you have to give feedback laterally. And it's how your direct reports grow if you have to give it to your subordinates. Whether you're giving it or receiving it, keep your ego in check and your goal in mind. What is it that you want to accomplish out of this conversation? So let's go. When you're giving the feedback, you want to be very specific. So when you're planning, you're going to write down specifically what happened. When you call, here's an example. When you called me out in the meeting the other day and said that I didn't do my complete my action items, okay? Specific what happened. The person receiving the feedback is supposed to listen without cutting in, okay? Then the person giving the feedback should now share the impact that it had on me. And when you did that, it made me feel undervalued and unappreciated for the work that I bring to the team, as if I had been killed right there in front of all the people. Okay. And that person is not to defend, but to allow you to keep going. And then you pause and you allow them to ask you questions. Are you with me? Do you remember or recall the situation that I'm talking about? Right. And it gives them an opportunity to ask you questions to understand. And then lastly, in the future, if I don't have something that you're looking for, perhaps maybe before the meeting, we can make sure that we are aligned, or maybe ask me a question. Hey, are any challenges in the meeting? Ask me questions versus telling me once again you didn't do your stuff, right? Ask me questions, um, or we can deal with it after the meeting, right? How does that sound for you? Are you willing to do that? And then the other person, thank the person, acknowledge the person's perspective, and consider how the feedback can be applied. Now, let me share this. Sometimes so y'all are in this meeting with me, and you have the language, you have the tool. Well, when you're getting ready to use this tool, you want to share the model with the person. Fast. You want to share the model with the person and say, hey, I have a difficult conversation I'd like to have with you. There's a tool that I would love to utilize to kind of guide us through this conversation so that we remain calm and in alignment with one another. Are you okay if I share the tool with you? Okay. And you ask for permission to use the guide for the conversation. If they say no, then you say, hey, would you mind just hearing me out? And once I share my situation with you, we can collaborate and talk about how to move forward in the future. Okay. Thoughts. How was that for you? What's coming up? What does BOLD stand for? Elevate Her 2025. I'm going to be sharing BOLD. Thanks, Jackie. It was great. Okay, good. Great method. Awesome. Awesome. Okay, very good. So, quick recap, we're coming toward the end. I want to bring this thing home because you see, influence and feedback are not just about skill, they are about intentionality. And when you combine structure with heart, your conversations become transformational. Influence is not about control, but it's about consistency. Feedback is not about fault, it's about future growth. Okay, so let's recap everything that we've covered. Influence, the four golden rules of influence is integrity, personal positive attitude, personal standard of excellence, and serving heart. Feedback requires your clarity. It requires compassion and courage and perception. That is the lens through which all of this is perceived. So remember, perception is in the eye of the beholder. Assume positive intent, be open, be specific, share the impact, and talk about the future. So now that you all are equipped with tools to elevate your influence and lead powerful conversations, the next step is activation. Because knowledge without action leaves you right where you started. So I'm going to take a moment. What's one thing that you all took away tonight that you're going to go and do differently as a result of tonight? One thing in the chat. Nobody took away anything. One thing that you're going to do differently as a result of tonight. I'm thinking. I love it, Jackie. Work on personal standard of excellence and have an accountability partner. Love it. Practice on my personal excellence. Wonderful. Assume positive intent. Thank you. All right, very good. So, just a reminder, I want to thank Lakeisha for putting that into the chat. It was very timely. Remember, the 24-hour special to get $99 off of your ticket is today only. It will expire at 6 p.m. on tomorrow. This makes your VIP Friday experience absolutely free. Go to elevatehertickets.com and use Elevate in the coupon code to get your $99 off. I hope to see all of you there. If you want more of what you experienced tonight, then you want to be at Elevate Her 2025. Kathleen said, purchase mine. Yay! Good to see you. Right? You want to be at Elevate Her 2025 if you want more of this kind of stuff, but not just from me, but from some amazing powerhouses. Follow me on Instagram, LaShawanda Moore on Instagram, or you can go to Facebook, Elevate Success business page, and you can see the lineup of all the speakers and some of the videos and things that they've had to say about the conference and about what they're going to be bringing. Cayenne said, I also like knowledgeability plus likability equals bookability. Love it. That is a good sales strategy if you're in sales. Everybody's in sales if you're an entrepreneur. Right. All right. Well, hey, any questions tonight? I came late but enjoyed what I heard. Awesome. Thank you so much, Miss Robina, for being here. The recording will go out, Miss Rabina, so you'll be able to hear the portion that you missed. Are there any questions for me? Was there anything? Oh, thank you, Chanel. Was there anything that I shared tonight and you're like, LaShawanda, that's just not realistic? Or I have this situation. How do I make it work? Any of those kinds of questions before we get out of here today? Chanel, and for those that are on here, Dr. Chanel Clark is actually one of our workshop presenters on Friday. So remember in the very beginning, I told you we have two gynecologists that are going to be talking about menopause and perimenopause. In fact, Joyce, are you still on here? Joyce and Chanel, I want to give you an opportunity to speak. Come off of mute if you'd like to share real quickly about your workshop that you're going to be sharing at the conference. If not, I know I just put you on the spot, but if you all want to do that, you're welcome to do that.
Yes. Hi, everyone. I'm super excited about this conference and I'm really excited about what God is going to do for women. We are going to be talking, and I say we because it's going to be me and Dr. Comfort Yaganzi. We're both board certified OBGYNs, and we're going to be talking about leading during the pause, leading when you're at the peak of your career and the height of your ideas, but your body is also going through a huge transition. And we're going to be talking about how God's word and the tools that LaShawanda even talked about tonight can really help you get through this time and thrive. And, you know, a lot of people, Dr. Comfort and I were actually talking about our conference today and actually putting together our presentation. So we are excited. And we kind of came up with this little thing where we've been noticing on Instagram that there's the We Do Not Care Club for all these women who are in perimenopause. And I think it's a wonderful way for women to be collaborative and to really just support each other and normalize a lot of the symptoms of menopause. But we also came up with We Are Now Wise Club. And I think that's what we want people to know, is that this time of transition is not one that's all of misery. It's actually one where we really can walk into our greatest wisdom. And remember, the Bible says, get wisdom, get understanding. That's the principal thing. So we can look at this time in our life as one where we can get great wisdom, great understanding, to lead with great aplomb, and to really be the leaders that God has called us to be and that we've always wanted to be. So we're excited.
Thank you, Dr. Clark. I'm so excited as well. Is Joy still on? I don't know if she had to jump or not. Because normally Joyce would not turn down an opportunity to speak. Okay. If you all go onto my Instagram page, you can hear from Joyce. Powerful. All right. Any questions? Are we good? All right. If you enjoyed tonight, go ahead and give me a heart into the chat or something good in the chat. Awesome. Awesome. All right. Well, thank you all so much for joining, for showing up for yourself today. Remember, just because they did not see you does not mean you are not the answer. Stay bold. Come to Elevate Her, and you will learn about the bold factor. Stay ready, and I will see you at Elevate Her 2025 this September 5th and 6th at the Norris Conference Center, City Center, Houston. And we are going to have a powerful activation moment. Have a good one, everybody.
LaShawanda.
Yes.
So now that the meeting is over, I have a quick question for you. Is there like a hotel near where the conference is going to be?
Yes. Let me stop this recording.